Okay, here we go. We're live on the air with Bob Labbe for the first time. Welcome to the Family Like It Goes podcast. How you doing tonight?
Good, Phantom. Thank you. I want to thank you for having me. I'm looking forward to our conversation.
Yeah, we're going to talk to you about your book, um, and we're going to talk about it, Putting by the Numbers. This is a groundbreaking book by you. It introduces a quantitative method for improving lag putting. They can help golfers reduce their scores by up to 4 to 5 strokes per round, regardless of skill level. So we're going to get to that. But before we get to that, I always ask a couple questions of my guest. What motivates you, and why do you do what you do?
Well, I didn't start playing golf until 1996 when I was 52 years old, and I had just sold my second of three companies. So my partner and I had always told each other that when we sold our second company, that we would go join a country club together and learn how to play the game of golf the right way. And that's exactly what we did. So that was the beginning of. We always loved the game of golf, but we never felt as owners of a company that was very, very busy that we had time to put towards the game of golf. And when
Mm-hmm.
we got kind of in that retirement mode, we said, okay, now we're going to make the same commitment to golf that we made to our business, and we're going to get good at golf. Well, I went up to Maggie Valley, North Carolina, to the PGA Golf School in North Carolina, and I took 4 days of group lessons and learned each of the 13 clubs in the bag, from the driver all the way down to the lob wedge. And then, of course, the 14th club, being the putter, is what my book is all about, is lag putting. I became pretty good. We played 3 days a week, Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays, and I practiced for 2 or 3 hours on Tuesday, Thursdays, and Saturdays for the first year in 1996. Well, everything was really getting good with the 13 clubs, but that putter was giving me trouble.
Mm-hmm.
And I could putt pretty good between 2 feet and 5 feet around the hole. But where I was getting in trouble is when I was 80 feet from the hole or
Mm-hmm.
45 feet from the hole. I had a problem estimating what kind of force I needed to apply to the ball to put it right at the hole. Well, I was hitting the ball too short when I babied, or when I muscled up, I was hitting it too far, invariably taking a three putt. And it was killing my score. And that was the motivation for trying to create a methodology of how to lag putt accurately, more precisely, so that you could always guarantee a two putt and sometimes even a one putt, which I do quite often.
Did you have a background in physics and engineering to come up with this?
Oh, I did. I most certainly did. I'm a graduate from Georgia Tech in Atlanta, Georgia, 1968, and physics and engineering mechanics, and I aced both those classes, and I just loved both physics and engineering mechanics, and so that was a natural for me to
Mm-hmm.
say, well, I understand that this putting at a ball is a force friction event.
Mm-hmm.
So now the question is, just like Edward Stimpson back in 1935 created the stimp meter, which
Mm-hmm.
is nothing more than a tube with a groove in it that you allow the ball to come down the potential energy and flow on the green. And that establishes the speed of the green on most all golf course tournaments around the world these days, and started back in 1976, 77, even though he invented it back in 1935. So Stimpson's work from a qualitative standpoint gave me an idea. I said, well, heck, if he can do something qualitatively, me being an engineer,
Mm-hmm.
I had to be able to do something quantitatively, and
Yes, and
that's where it all started.
that's because my background, I'm in data analytics and system design from a software standpoint. So I understand software engineering, which is not the same as mechanical, but like I can understand where you're coming from. Um, so it's interesting that you applied the engineering methodology and that discipline. And so when you started to really look at the problem, you went at it like an engineer because you are an
Absolutely,
engineer.
absolutely. Yeah, I defined what the problem was, first of all, like every good solving engineer or analytical person, you got to define what the problem was. And
Mm,
my problem is I couldn't deliver the right force to the ball to make it travel the appropriate distance. That was the problem. So then I had to analyze what were the possible solutions, and then I came up with what are the what from those possible is something that you can really execute on the golf course. That is something repetitive. It's accurate, easy to use. It had to be all those things,
mhm,
and that's how this evolved. And I have developed a methodology which I call quantitative method of lag putting
mhm.
that is unlike any other method that's ever been used in the golf world from the days of Scotland forward. And so I hope I've made my purpose is to create something to be used in the golf community long after I'm gone, and to be used as a quantitative method that people can improve their game and have fun with the game by scoring lower.
So it's interesting, like because I deal with a lot of UI design, so users and users, and I have to work with like architects and engineers and kind of be a bridge. I'm a business analyst type of person. So my question to you is quantitative lag plugin, it sounds very technical. If you have an average golfer that's not a mechanical engineer, how do you translate that when they're reading your book? I mean, how is your book laid out?
Well, I have like 6 chapters, but my book is who, how, when, where, why, and then the conclusion. And attached to the book are 2 video tutorials.
Oh,
One
that's
is
what I was gonna wonder is was there a video?
one 11-minute in-home practice tutorial, and one 23-minute on-course practice tutorial, where I demonstrate how the method works and how the technique works. And if you don't even need to read my book. If you watch my videos,
The video would do it.
the video will tell you whether it's a good idea for you. And then
Mhm,
if you want to get into the details, my book's only 80 pages long. It takes an hour and a half, 2 hours to read.
mhm.
And it's a good reference because then
Good
you'll
one-legged
know,
reference material.
yeah, have to go something back to see what you're doing right or wrong. But at any rate, yeah, I made it so that this physics of force friction converted to arithmetic.
Mhm.
Okay.
We have
And
algebra.
yes. And the thing is, see, I don't change your putting grip. I don't can't change your putting stroke. I don't change your putter. I don't change anything. The only thing I tell you is that every time any human being puts a golf ball, they rock their shoulders in a pendulum motion with their arms and their shoulders.
Mm,
That rocking of the shoulders and the swinging of that putter is what I call the individual power factor. And
mm,
everybody has a different individual power factor. For instance, on my home course, normally in the summer, I retract my putter or remove my putter 1 inch from the ball, and I use my individual power factor to stroke through the ball, and that ball will travel 20 feet. Whereas my wife, who's also a very good golfer, she'll retract that putter 1 inch and her ball will travel 11 feet. The
mm,
difference in individual power factors. So that's the key. Then you begin to be able to visualize. It's important that you're able to visualize 1 inch through 12 inch on a ruler, or 2.5 centimeters through 30 centimeters if you're in the metric system, and be
mm,
able to retract that putter. And then you be sure you stroke through the ball. And that is, in essence, the whole story behind this. And then you got the green, you got the fringe, you got the fairway, you got the first cut of rough. All of those surfaces have different frictional resistance. And that's what you go. You go to the golf course 30 minutes before your tee time. You go onto the practice green. You practice, see how far your ball will travel. I usually use a 3-inch stroke when I'm on a practice green, and the
Mhm.
ball usually travels about 60 feet. I write that down. Okay, 20 feet per inch green. Usually the fairways and the fringe for me are about 7 feet of travel per inch. And the first cut of rough is usually about 2.5 feet of travel per inch. I write all those numbers on my card, and then I go out to the course and play the game. And when I'm 17 feet off the green, I might putt the ball if there's no obstructions. And if I do, 9 times out of 10, I'll be within 3 to 5 foot of that cup. And 98% of the time, I'll make that two putt. And
Wow.
that
So you just like turned it into a, like a mathematical like
it's a
problem that
it,
you could solve.
it's arithmetic. It's like going
Yeah.
to the grocery store and buying 3 cans of beans for $1.50. It's
But
so
yeah, you kind of
easy.
you back it in. It's like you want to hit that into you want to get into the hole. So you're backing into like what how do I actually accurately and consistently get to the hole in as few steps as possible.
Exactly, exactly. And the thing is, you can use this method and be as rapid, more rapid. I'm usually play faster than my guys I play with because you can either step off the distance, you can use your rangefinder, boom. But here's the cool part about all this:
Mhm.
most recreational, amateur, even club pros and touring pros don't have a plan when they go to the putting green or around the play. They go to the putting green, particularly amateurs and recreational players. They go to the putting green, grab their putter out. They don't have a plan. What's cool about this method? It creates confidence.
Mhm.
It gives you a plan of attack. What am I going to do? You already know before you arrive at that green what you're going to
Well,
do.
it's like you're rehearsing. Like I'm a musician, and anybody who's like an athlete or a musician, like you got to practice that play. You got to practice that piece, and the more you do it, and you have like what the piece of music is, right? You know what the playbook is, what the coach gave you, right? You know what you're supposed to do. If you do enough
Exactly.
reps, you should
Yeah.
be able to kind of without thinking, muscle memory, be able to do it. Like,
Exactly. Exactly. And actually, Phantom, one of the cool parts about all of this, which when you started making up a method, you don't know exactly if it's reproducible,
yeah, universal,
repeatable,
yeah, universal.
is it accurate? What's all cool about it, and what's more important, it's linear. This is linear, which is and it works on any golf course in the world. You can play any golf course in the world, just show up 30 minutes early, go through the process of going to the green, the fringe, the fairway, and the first cutter up, write that on your scorecard, and you'll play that course as good as your home course.
Could you come in with a plan? Like anybody, like if you're with a project manager and it's like, where's the plan, right? If the plan's off the cuff, then the project's kind of going down. Right?
Exactly.
You have to have an accurate plan, right? And you have to read the room. Like, you
Right.
have to know your course. You gotta know
Right.
all those different parts of the course and
Yeah.
actually have a plan for where you're gonna attack each part.
That's right. I mean, and that's what my whole objective in all of this creation of putting by the numbers, a quantitative method of lag play. I'm 82 years old now. Okay. And I've been doing this for 30 years. I want to leave a mark on the game of golf. You know,
Mhm.
I may not be as substantive as a guy like Harvey Pennick, who's as everybody knows who Harvey Pennick is, and I've read his book 4 or 5 times. But I want to leave a mark on the game of golf that's contributory to all levels of skill to make their game better. And I think I've done that, and I'm really excited about it.
Is this your first book, or have you ever written other types of books?
Well, I wrote articles, technical articles, all through my 50-year career in the engineering business. But as far as writing a type of a textbook or instructional manual for publication, I wrote a lot of instruction manuals for various
Mhm.
types of air pollution control systems, and
So you're
and
used
so
to those type
they
of manuals.
yeah, I've written a lot of those types of books. But yes, this is the first book I've ever written that is to all 8 billion people on the planet, but there's only 430 million golfers worldwide,
Yeah, so
which
it's
it,
like you
which includes 100 million miniature golfers. And oh, by the way, miniature golfers can use this too to
wanna
beat their
use it too?
buddies.
Oh, that's cool. But, like, the
Yeah.
question I had in terms of book, because like, when I talk to a lot of writers on the channel, there's this whole thing with, like, beta readers. There's this whole thing, like, if you're working with a publisher, this whole thing with your booking agent to try to go and do, like, do book conventions, and so the question I have is, like, did you actually go through a traditional publisher, or is it self-published? Like, how are you doing this?
Well, I did. I went through a self-publisher, Archway Publishers division of Simon Schuster. Okay. And the reason I did that because I knew Simon Schuster was one of the big five. And I figured that Archway, being a subsidiary of theirs, would be top quality, top notch. And they turned out to be so.
Mhm.
So I took my manuscript and we went through it and they edited it for me and uh, we got it published and then in the rebrand I did the rebranding process. I initially published this back in 22. I rebranded under Bob Labbe Books. I have my own book publishing business now.
Okay. Okay, you set up your own thing.
Yeah, I did that January 1st, 2020. I did a rebranding under Bob Labbe Books, and so now the whole book thing, and I'm using Bookhaven Literary as my literary agent
Mhm.
and publisher now. But yeah, I went through the self publishing process, and I've been to book forums all over the world.
Yeah,
Um,
beta readers and all that.
exactly. So it's been quite a journey, and I've learned a lot. I'm a neophyte in the world of literary world, but I'm still learning.
In the golf world, was there a way to connect to, like, golf associations and get this book into those areas?
Well, that's what we're trying to do by doing a lot of podcasting.
Mhm.
Okay, and we have several projects going on right now where we're going to try to get this into the PGA golf world and teaching communities where there's training centers,
Mhm.
private golf courses, public golf courses, even into maybe high school or college golf
Yeah, that's a
as
cool
as
strategy.
a as a methodology to, I'm not talking about selling my book as much as I am talking about selling to the world of golf. There is truly
Like a course.
an
Yep.
accurate, repeated method that you can improve your long distance putting. And it's putting by the numbers, and it's a force friction method. And you got to learn this because it really works.
So this has helped you be more consistent when you're under pressure because you've got this methodology, so if you actually practice it and get comfortable with it, even if you're under pressure, if you kinda lean into your training or lean into
Right,
the method, it will give you something grounded instead of just, like, playing it by ear and not having
right.
any kind of plan. If you have this, at least you're grounded and say, "Hey, I can always fall back on this even if I get nervous. I can still
Exactly.
fall back on this."
That is really a key point, boy. That is so key because when you're up and playing in, I played in a lot of amateur tournaments, no big time tournaments like the pros, but I played a lot of amateur tournaments. And when you're a stroke or two ahead in stroke play, or you're a stroke or two ahead in match play, and you're coming down to that 18th hole, it gets pretty nerve wracking. And where you might be playing for $100, but you're playing for pride.
Mhm.
And when you get that going on you, you have the nerves start getting to you. With this system, you got another tool in your toolbox that you can pull out to calm those nerves. You've done it before. You got a plan. You got confidence. You execute. So you got a plan, confidence, and then you execute. But everybody has to execute. That no matter what club you hit, you got to execute.
Mhm. Yeah, well, just a lot of times it's just, you know, it's like training and repetition. Like, I mean, I always talk about the musician example. Like, no matter how old we are as a musician, we're still practicing our skills. We're still
Right.
practicing our chord, structures, and we're practicing to stay. Because if you just like, oh, I'm not going to play for a year, and somebody sends you to a gig, you're not going to be as good as you were. Like you have to be up to speed, and if you're not up to speed, you're going to be slacking off. So, like, if you have a way to have a repetitive process that you can kind of lean on, that you can apply anywhere. That you're saying it doesn't matter. You can apply it to miniature golf. You can apply it to like regular golf, and it works on any course. So it's cool that you have the book as like a reference, and then you have the videos. Have you
Right.
also done like an audio book version?
I have. There are books available in ebook, in soft cover, hardcover, and in audiobook. And Steve Sally, he was the narrator that did. He's a narrator actor out in L.A.
Oh, yeah,
and
professional actor. That's cool.
yeah, and he's got a tremendously great voice. He does a wonderful job of narrating the book for me. And so, yeah, I sold a lot of audiobooks, and everybody tells me they love it.
Yeah, well, audio is like the big thing today because everybody's like multitasking. They're in their ride share, they're on a plane, and
Right,
and they want to be able to still be into what they're into. And
right,
then if you're not, you're a golfer. It's like, hey, I'm listening to my golf books. You're doing something else. You just listen. They listen to what you're into, and it's cool because you can actually carry what your interest on the road with you. But like if you're saying, it doesn't matter if you're like a beginner or advanced. This book would help anybody, like even
Ab-
the advanced player.
absolutely, absolutely. Because I've had a lot of good golfers. Doug Regula, who's a friend of mine, and he was before he retired, he was the chief anesthesiologist at Cleveland Clinic up in Cleveland. And Doug just won back this last season. He won his club championship at the regular level, and he won his club championship at the senior level. And he uses my putting method, and he's a scratch golfer.
That was awesome. So like yeah, so you've got a good example there. And so like when you talk about like engineering, we know about numbers, we know about patterns. So when you started to research this, you kind of talked about like how you got into it. But is there anything like key lessons learned, from actually doing the work that you put into the book that surprised you? Like things that you
Well,
found out?
one of the things that was really, I kept saying to myself as I tried developing this method, kept saying to myself, well, now before you ever put anything down into a book form, as an engineer, you have the responsibility to be sure it's accurate, and you're not uh, feeding any BS out there. This has got to be real,
Yeah.
okay? And I said, so in order for you to be able to put something in writing, and it took me like 25 years after all these notes stuffed in my golf bag and then getting them out and then starting to write the book and say, okay, it's got to be simple. The book's got to be something that anybody can pick up and read. You don't want to be a physicist. You don't want to be an engineer.
Mhm.
I just want to be the average guy or gal picking this book and I can understand what this guy is saying to me. So I had to have all those criteria. And then I had to make really sure that this was a repeatable thing, that it just didn't happen once in a while. So it had to be repeatable. And I found out, in the one key thing that I found out that I didn't know in the beginning, the method is linear. In
Mm.
other words, it'll travel so many feet for every inch of retraction for your putter for the green, the fairway, the fringe, or the first cutter up. It has a linear response. And that's key to making it repeatable and accurate. And that's why it works so doggone well.
Yeah, so you did the math and you were able to kind of like I've done, QA. QA work is where you take an algorithm like within like software design and like and you push it, you try to break it. Like we
Right,
try to go and take our processes and say, hey, can we break the UI? Can we break the logic? Can we break the rules? Is there some unexpected, unhappy path? Like we know the 80% path, the happy path. The
right.
unhappy path is what's always causing the trouble. Like the exception logic Did you ever find any kind of exception logic, or it's always like pretty much always going the happy path?
I haven't found an unhappy path in this process. I've looked for various ways that I could make the system not work, and I haven't found that road.
That's cool. Because I spend a lot of time trying to like break break things as a tester.
Yeah, I understand. I understand, and I think in order to make sure that the methodology works, you have to do that,
Yeah, yeah. You have to try to like yeah, get to the foundations. Like what happens if I pull this pillar? Like what
right?
happens if I pull this one? Like what causes catastrophic failure? What doesn't? You know, engineering, you know what you do. You try to see like what's the limit? Where are the limits of this thing? Like
Right,
what's the
exactly.
performance like? Is it gonna perform for the SLA, for the service level
Right,
agreement? Like that's what we get into
right.
stuff. Is it gonna performance into what's the service level agreement for this?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But, yeah, because it's interesting because like, engineering like, I was wondering, like, because you're an engineer and, like, you know, if when you get into the heady spaces, like the technical spaces,
Mhm.
tech bros, tech type people, sometimes
Uh-huh.
we can underestimate like, we understand something, but does the layperson understand it? And so, did you kinda have to, like, beta test that?
Well, yeah, I was always very conscious of what I was doing because I could make this method extremely complicated. Okay. If we start talking about the integrals and the differentiation of the force friction relationship and then go back into the calculus that defines these real force friction events, we could make this subject so complicated that it would not be usable.
Yeah,
Only,
only
only,
the
only.
doctorates would like it, only the PhD candidates would like it.
So I constantly had a focus on, hey, everything you're doing here, if you can't simplify it down to where the average person can use it easily while playing golf, then it's of no value. I mean,
Mhm.
it might be a great idea, but if you can't actually use it, what's the purpose of it? And that was always a constant focus of everything I did when practicing the method on courses I played courses all over the world,
Wow.
and I can tell you that this method will improve your game on any golf course you play in the world, even if it's the first time you ever played.
That's cool because that's like, you know, it's part of like testing is like actually going out and trying it in the different you know, scenarios, running your like your unit test, your system integration test, your
Yeah,
user acceptance test. So like
yeah,
if you get out there, it's like I gotta do it for a good sample size. You know, like if you talk about social, yeah, like any of the social sciences, we have to
yeah,
have a good sample size.
absolutely. Yeah,
Like, if you
yeah.
don't have a good sample size, how valid is your poll? How valid is your data analytics if your sample isn't that great, right? You have to
True.
have a actually a realistic scenario that shows that it works in the real world.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. And yeah, that's what makes me so excited about not necessarily the book. I'm excited about the world knowing about the quantitative method of
Mhm.
long distance putting, the methodology. The book is just an instruction manual you go back to when you've been trying to execute and you find out that something's not working. Then you go back and you revisit your practice and you get it right.
Yeah, because like, trying to get, you know, fewer moves or getting closer to the hole is, like, the whole point. It's like you're trying to get closer and actually have a more productive, efficient game. Like you're trying to get it done. Like you said, you play kind of fast.
Uh,
Is that because you're trying to be efficient?
yeah. Well, what's kind of interesting about this method is that when you become very proficient at using this long distance method of putting, invariably your ball is within that 3 to 5 foot range from the cup after you hit the first putt. Sometimes it's in the hole, but that's not as often, of course.
Yeah, yeah.
With that said, though, all you have to do if you are good at this long distance method of putting, all you got to do is practice your 3 and 5 foot putting, and you'll make two putts every time. That's all I do. I find out what the my individual power factor is for the green, the fairway, first cut or rough, and fringe, and then I go putt the green 3 to 5 foot away, making sure I can make all those putts. And I only make a three putt usually one every 3 rounds today, and I'm 82 years old.
Hmm.
Last year, I my average putting for an amateur like myself 31.5 putts per round.
Wow.
Okay. Now the pros, they're better than me, of course. Their target's 28 putts per round. And of course, sometimes I'll even get down to there, but that's the that's the irregular for me. But
Hmm.
the guys on the pro tour, they're putting 28 per round, or heck down to 20 putts per round. They're so good.
Yeah, so that's where you're just giving people like an advantage because you're putting the thought in as to like, hey, I shouldn't just come here without a plan.
Mm.
You should actually have a way of identifying patterns, identifying the algorithm, identifying that the physics, like you figured out the force levels and understanding like each individual, so you can individual like this is catered to each person. Like you said, your wife had a certain distance, you had a certain distance. Every
Exactly.
person is going to have a certain because of what their body type is, like how tall
Uh,
they are, how
right.
what their arm strength is,
Yeah.
what their leg strength is. It's like there's all these factors that into the biology. How much of that is effect, or you don't even take that in effect?
Well, I think one of the things that I stress in my book and videos is that you know your individual power factor is a biomechanical mechanism that is personally yours and only yours.
Hmm.
Okay. And so, like my wife is 11 feet per inch on the same course that I'm 20 feet per inch on the green. Her biomechanical factors are that much different than mine.
Yeah.
And here's the key though. You don't try when you do this, all I want you to do is swing pendulumly. Don't swing hard, don't swing easy, just swing comfortably. What's comfortable for you personally. If
Mm.
that personal comfort level is along with your natural pendulum motion of your swing, rocking your shoulders, is what creates the accuracy of this method.
Mm.
And everybody's IPF is different. Everybody's comfortable swing level is different. But if you swing comfortably and do that with whether you're putting on the green, the fringe, or the fairway, or the first cutter up, you'll get different distances because the frictional surfaces allow the ball to only travel certain distances. And then that's what you put on your scorecard, and that gives you the compound amount. How do you hit a ball 73 feet from the cup that's on the what's on the fairway? It's got to go through the fringe and get to the cup. Well, you got your formula. Boom. Takes about 10 seconds to figure it out.
Now, why do you think this was overlooked by other people, or maybe because engineers weren't looking at it?
Well, I think in the game of golf, um, it is it is such a different game, and you could go back to the people in the golf world, like Homer Kelly, who was he did I think he had over a quadrillion different stroke possibilities from an engineering viewpoint to for the swing, and Scott Gummer wrote a book about it called the golf golfing machine. Okay, I think you take the great golfers of our time, and I go back and uh, Jack Nicklaus and Phil Mickelson, Tiger Woods,
Mm.
to Watson and Sam Steed and all those people I got to see in my lifetime, and see how uniquely better they were than the average amateur golf. And golf is a mysterious game. It's a game that, if you stroke that ball a quarter of an inch off the sweet spot of the club, you're going to get a lot bigger different results than if you hit it on the sweet spot.
Hmm.
And you can hit hooks and you can hit fades, and there's a lot of skill sets in trying to do that. I know how to hit a fade. I know how to hit a draw or a hook, and yet the pros that are really on the tour, they're a quantum leap above everybody that plays golf for just recreational purposes.
Because they got all the techniques, but they understand it, and they
Oh
got
yeah,
it's just here.
it's their business. They
Yes,
practice it.
right.
They're playing it 6 to 7 days a week. They're practicing 30, 40 hours a week. I mean, it is their business,
It's like
and
any athlete, like
they're
every
expert. Yeah, yeah,
they're
they are.
athletes.
They,
Like, yeah, it was
yeah,
like every athlete from F1 driver being able to do like 200 mile an hour and go into those corners at
yeah,
speeds that no one else would ever try because you'd be too scared to do it. I mean, it's just
yeah,
like there's certain skill sets for extreme level capabilities that some people are able to get to that sweet spot and stay there. They can
right.
actually, and they can do it on demand. Like that's when you
Yeah,
get like musicians that are just like they can do intricate, really hard arrangements, in
yeah,
real time,
yeah,
consistently all the time.
yeah,
And it's
yeah,
because of the level of practice that they have and innate capability. It's like they're kind of born to do it.
yeah. Well, see, that's what I like about my contribution to the game of golf is that anybody can look at my videos, pick up my book, read it, and if they'll go out and practice 30 minutes a day for 3 days a week for 6 weeks, after at the end of that 6 weeks period, they will know if this methodology is for
Gonna
them.
work for them. Yeah, because it's
Yeah,
like if you don't like, I guess it's like what's the feedback from readers? Have you gotten really good feedback that they have been able to easily access your your training and your knowledge and it's transferred and they've actually got it?
I've had a lot of friends, a lot of people just like Doug Regula and Todd O'Malley, a bunch of people that are my associates and whatnot have given me good verbal feedback. But I have 82 reviews on Amazon. I sold over 10,000 books. I've got a 4.0 star rating. Most people that have, 90 plus percent of the people who have read my book appreciate the technical difficulty that I've made simple.
Mhm.
There are some people that I've got a couple bad reviews because of
But it's
people
always
who people just don't want to open up their minds to learn new things.
well, yeah, if
And
something is not, from 0 to 100, like, they can get it in 5 seconds.
yeah,
Like, if
yeah,
you have to put any effort in, then it's
right,
hard because, like, sometimes there's certain things that, like, it actually takes some level of discipline. Like, if you wanna learn to
exactly,
play a piano, you play Bach, it's gonna
yeah,
take you a little bit, and if you wanna just suddenly play Bach tomorrow, like, it's not gonna happen,
that's
right?
right,
Like, so you gotta put it like, depends on the level of the scale. Like, on a scale, how much work do you have to put in terms of reading and comprehending or watching your video and comprehending and then being able to repeat it? And how comfortable are you with staying in that until you get it? And I think
right,
we live in an age where people want instant gratification. They want something in 15 seconds. So
right.
if you get somebody that wants something in 15, 30 seconds, then maybe that's not going to work.
That's exactly right. And I've been so overwhelmed by people saying such nice things to me about the book. So many great reviews I've gotten on Amazon, and with over 10,000 book sales, and and the sales are going up logarithmically. I mean, as they were out trickling in the first year or so, but now they're on a really growth curve now, and a lot of people are starting to hear about this methodology. They're starting to buy the little instruction book. You can, right now I got it on sale on Amazon for 99 cents.
Oh, wow.
Okay. And
That's not
I tell people, if you pick that book up, ebook up, and for 99 cents, read the book, give me a review, send me your physical address, and I'll send you a softback copy with a note of inspiration in the book to you personally.
Oh wow, that's cool. So
Yeah.
we got the QR code up there, so that will go right to your website. So if people go to your website, that will connect to the Amazon.
Yes, that's correct. It will.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's
And
awesome.
we've got boblobby.com. We've got puttingbythenumbers.com and amazon.com. And of course, the reviews are on amazon.com. And so far, I just was very fortunate this year. I got a number one bestseller rating internationally. So
Awesome.
very, and then I've got number 13 bestseller rating at Amazon. But those are very, transient things.
Hmm.
That they don't stay up but a day or two or a week at the most. So that's a constant changing badge. But it's an award badge that I've got that makes me proud of my work ethic.
Do you get to go to like golf symposiums and be like like TED talks about something like this? Have you done stuff like that?
I haven't. It's on the agenda for me to get more involved. But as I said, I'm 82 years old. I'm in pretty good health. But
Hmm.
as you get to be at my age, your energy level.
Yeah, you
You,
don't know if you want
I
to do the TED talk circuit. Do
Well,
that.
I still play golf 2 days a week. Okay, and I generally play 18 holes 2 days a week, and but when I'm done with those 2 days, I'm pretty tired. So I don't have the energy levels I used to have, but I have a couple son-in-laws that are golfers. I've got family that are interested in this, and so we're going to try to take this methodology and put it into the training PGA training schools
Okay,
and
then maybe you could have a speaking arrangement where you talk about it or something.
exactly where I show up and we have a training session and I'll be a keynote speaker to about the methodology, that sort of thing.
Yeah, and it's
Yeah,
actually geared toward the audience you want to. Because like, if you just went to a bookstore, it's like, well, how many golfers are at the bookstore? Like, you wanna go to the audience that's into what you're doing to have the biggest bang for the buck, you know?
exactly. Yeah, because I want people that are really interested in the game of golf, and
Mhm.
I want this method that I've created to lower their score. Nothing
Yeah,
makes me nothing makes me happier when I've got somebody that has read my book and said, "Hey, Bob, I didn't knock 4 or 5 strokes off my game. I've knocked 7 strokes off
yeah,
mine
that's what you
because
want.
of the way I'm putting now." That make You don't know how much gratification that gives me when I get that.
Yeah, well, that's like the gratification you have from a good design, which like you always you're an engineer, so you're trying to create the most efficient, effective design, and you did. So
Yeah,
that's cool.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
the goal. I mean, that's the goal of
Okay.
any engineer.
Exactly,
So,
exactly,
I think it's awesome that you put something that you love. Because what we like to talk about on this show is people finding their passion, whatever age they're at, and getting into it, and then having this space to talk about it. So you've been talking about the fact that you've been an engineer for most of your career, and you still applied it to a passion, which was golf, which is
exactly.
cool, to go and take
Yeah,
something you're passionate about and then apply like your business sense and your engineering sense to it. I think that's a really cool way to weave. Yeah, people sometimes keep their jobs separate from their passion, but you're
yeah,
able to kind of, clean, interweave them, interwoven, which is pretty cool.
yeah. Well, Phantom, I was fortunate back in 1968 to go to work for American Air Filter in Louisville, Kentucky, a very big air pollution control company, and I learned my trade, so to speak, in the years of training I got from them before I started my first air pollution control business in '72, and I just sold my last one in 2023. I had three of them totally, but into all those years, I put bag houses and scrubbers on power plants and steel
Mhm.
mills and cement plants. And you get great gratification in knowing that you're keeping all that very fine
They
particulate
go
and
and figure it out. Yeah.
noxious noxious gases emissions out of the atmosphere. And that gives you a great sense of pride and being a participant in a betterment of the world. But there's nothing more exciting to me than making a mark on the game of golf
Yeah, well, I
because
mean, you
I've,
made a mark there. I mean, that's really admirable because, like, I'm into, like, clean air technology. I'm a cancer survivor, so I'm really it's at age 27, I had a sarcoma, and
oh, wow.
I
Uh,
appreciate people getting rid of VOCs and getting rid of carcinogens wherever they can, or irritants. So I
right,
think what you did there is super important. People like me, I
uh,
appreciate anybody who's like going against, trying to eliminate pollution or reduce it. And
right.
then on top of that, taking your engineering skill and being passionate about golf. Cause
Yeah,
like everybody's passionate about something and golf is your thing. So
yeah,
that's cool that you actually put the energy that you put into your other work and you put it
mm,
into that. So that's a really cool way to live. Cause some people could say, well, I can only do my accounting work in accounting.
right.
Maybe they could actually
uh,
apply it to something else. But then it's like, well,
Exactly.
they don't think about it, but you actually thought about it and you did it.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. Um, I've spent a lot of time with this book since I've read it and republished it, and been doing these podcasts and all this, and I come up with I come up with ideas all the time, and I came up with an idea a few weeks ago, and I told my wife, I said, I think I'm going to write another book. And she said,
Oh,
no,
yeah.
no, no.
Book
Oh,
again.
no, 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 no. You're not going to write another book.
Oh, she doesn't want you writing
You're,
another one?
yeah, you're busy enough already. You don't need to write another book. I
Wow.
said,
Once
well,
you're an author, you tend to write that next book. I mean, that's the thing. Like, once you get the book, but
yeah,
I've talked to a lot of writers on this thing. It's like once they get past that first book, then the
yeah,
next books
yeah.
start to come, like whether you want them to or not.
Well, my wife points out to me, said, you got so much, you're doing so much about your book that you wrote with respect to the podcasting and writing notes to people and sending books out and visiting various libraries and whatnot about your book.
Folders.
How would you have time to do that with another book? And I think she makes a good point because, as you said, hey, golf is a passion in my life. And I really, truly want to make my mark on the game of golf. And I think through this book, and the methodology, I think I've done that.
Yeah, I mean, if what we've talked about is like you're gonna go like on a like into like a symposiums, do talks, go into the different associations. Like if you go and you scatter yourself into another idea that's not golf, then
Right.
that's gonna kind of take away from like you have to like the way the world is. Like if you focus a lot on something, you can actually push it into the ether, and everybody will find out if you put the energy into it. But if you let off on the gas and then
Hmm.
divert to something else, then there's less energy going to that. And things tend to, if you put water on it, it will grow. If you actually put attention on it, it'll happen. You kind of
Yeah,
have to put the attention on it or it won't grow.
that's true. That's true. And, I have the support of my family, my children and grandchildren that are golfers, several golfers in my children and grandchildren. And I think that I'm trying to say, hey, I want to hand this ball off to you because
Mhm.
I'm not gonna be here forever. And I want to give you as much
Yeah, but
information as I possibly
like
can.
if you create a book, you create a process. That's something they can keep pushing. You can keep anytime you create something into the world, then
Yeah,
you have that legacy that the next generation, your heirs, can take it and kind of build on it. So I think that's a really cool thing to do because like I
yeah,
always tell people who have visions, like don't keep them in your head. Like
right.
you gotta take what you got and it's like you stop what if, just do it.
That's
Like
right. Just
if
do it.
you don't put it out, then no one's gonna know about it.
That's right. That's right. And so I'm thrilled with where I'm at with the book so far, but I'm still pushing. And my publicist and literary agent, and I've got a consultant, Mitch Carson. He's helping me gather ideas and create public. publications that support my book, and
Awesome.
hopefully the training programs and all that we're going to come out with, and get with the high schools, colleges, private, public courses, whatever, training session, training centers, that kind of stuff. We have a plan afoot. Now we just got to codify it and start down one path and keep adding on.
Well, you're doing it. You're here on the podcast, and this is a really big way in today's world. I mean, the podcast environment is how people get their ideas out. The people consume these, a lot. So we're happy that you took time to talk to us. We want to thank you again for being here. We have the QR code again. We ask people to take your phone, scan that. Easiest way to get to the link. We are live on LinkedIn, YouTube, and Kick. And once we're off the air, the links you see below to your Instagram and to the website are also clickable on all the platforms. And we're not just on LinkedIn, YouTube, or Kick. We're on Spotify Video Podcast, Apple Podcast, iHeartRadio, Amazon, Facebook, and Newsly. So I want to thank you again for being on the show. We will create a landing page that we give to your promotional people, where that will have all the places that we can be listened to or watched. And we'll put that out where I have a Substack too, where I'll put a little article with all the landing pages and everything. So I want to thank
Uh,
you again for being here.
Phantom, thank you for having me. It's been a great discussion, and that offer of sending you a signed book is for you too. So don't forget that.
Okay, I will go and I'll look into that. Thank you very
Okay.
much.
Take care. Thanks for having me.
Have a good night.